Hello, we are Group 13B. My name is Pega, and today I'm going to talk about the history of a Spitfire.
Hello, my name is Balint and I will talk about the engines.
Hello, my name is Patricia and I'm going to talk about the wings and the airframe.
Hello, I'm Jacob and I'm going to talk about the weaponry.
Hello, my name is Wadia and I'm going to talk about the ups and downs of the Spitfire.
And I'm your son. I'll be talking about how many Spitfires are left in the world. And welcome to our presentation.
A Spitfire is also called Supermarine Spitfire and is most widely produced, very important British single-seat fighter in World War II, which is used by Royal Air Force. The first flight was on 5th of March 1936 from an aerodrome near Southampton. This aircraft is designed by R.J. Mitchell, but he died in 1937. After him, his colleague Mr. Joseph Smith became a chief designer of this aircraft. During Battle of Britain, from July 1940 until October of that year, the public received the Spitfire to be the most and the main fighter of the Royal Air Force. This aircraft is produced in more variants than any other British aircrafts, which has been manufactured before, during and after World War II, which was very important. This aircraft and this Spitfire is the only short-range but high-performance fighter which is capable of defending Britain from any other fighter or bomber during these years, and which has done this in Battle of Britain too.
Okay, as for the engine, the driving force, the Merlin was the first engine option for the Spitfire, made by Rolls-Royce. It was such a good engine, not just the Spitfire, but the Fairey Battle, the Hurricane, and both the 4-engine Bomber Lancaster had it. Initially, this engine produced 1,000 to 1,300 horsepower. But with some mechanical and aviation fuel developments, the latest version of the Merlin produced about 1,800 to 2,000 horsepower. Then they needed to do some more development, so they even renamed the engine to the Griffon. They made the camshaft and some magneto drives instead of taking the gear power away from the crankshaft, which is losing power. So the engine got smaller, efficient, and more reliable. Because it got smaller, the cylinders were able to get bigger, so the 27 litre converted to 37 litres, which is 36% more as the Merlin. These engines were used first in 1939, first 1,800 to 2,000 horsepower, latest version about 2,500 horsepower. Starting from 1,000 ending up at 2,500 is a huge difference considering we're talking about the same aircraft. Now as for performance, the ceiling altitude was 34,000 feet, which is quite okay, but due to the piston engine, it was more efficient around between 10 to 25,000 feet. As for speed, it wasn't as fast as other aircrafts at that time, but its main key as aircraft was the maneuverability. It just won every fight because of that.
In 1934, the design staff decided to use a semi-elliptical wing shaped to serve two conflicting requirements. The wing needed to be thin to avoid creating too much drag, but it had to be thick enough to house the rectable undercarriage. The wing tips themselves were of wooden construction with the outer aluminium skin screwed to the wood. They could be detached and replaced it with a fairing to increase the roll rate of the Spitfire. This offers some major advantages in air-to-air fighting.
Oh, hello again.
Hello! Shiston said, the real advantages of the elliptical wing turned out to be its low induced drag at very high altitudes, such altitudes not having having been considered during the design, but realized during the war. Now I will speak a little bit about airframe. The Spitfire airframe was complex, semi-monocoque aluminium skin fuselage, featured a number of compound vertical curves built up from a skeleton of 19 formers. The skin of the fuselage, wing and tailplane were secured by down-heated rivets, and in a critical area such as the wing, forward of the main spar, where an uninterrupted airflow was required with flash rivets.
Oh, blind man! There's an explosion! Oh, I almost lost my head off. Right, so as you know in the Battle of Britain, Spitfire was one of the most famous aircraft there. However, it didn't actually shoot down the most aircraft, enemy that is. That was awarded by the Hawker Hurricane. Right, now the original Spitfire was armed with 8 little machine guns, but because they were the thickness of normal soldier rifle guns, they weren't able to properly dent the German armour. They were useful in the beginning of the war, but then after a while, the Germans decided we need to fight this by giving them more armour. So the British, we had to upgrade to 20mm armament. This was much more able to give the Germans a bit of a smacking, and that gave them very well. However, it had to do a bit of a problem because it was new, it was very big, it was very heavy for the wings, the alignment was off, and it caused some big problems. Thank you, darling. And yeah, that caused, but then eventually after number 92 squadron, if I'm not wrong, they got it fixed because they learned to put half little rifle machine guns and half others. Now, the C-wing, this was the universal one, that's what that was talking about. Now the D-wing is when they replaced it for fuel. So instead of having weaponry, they had fuel instead. This could allow it to travel an extra 2,000 miles. This was known as a reconnaissance aircraft, if I'm pronouncing that right. Now the E-wing was a further development of everything, and it was kind of like, it was a further development of the C-wing, the universal wing. It had a lovely positioning of half, 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 and that became the standard. It was also known as the Mark 21 Spitfire, and this is also known as the new-shaped wing. And yeah, that's a rough little introduction on the armory.
Oh my god, it's so cold. Oh, that reminds me. The Spitfire was a revolutionary aircraft during World War II due to its groundbreaking design and precise specifications, fighting effectively against the German Luftwaffe in the Battle of Britain. The primary design of the Supermarine Spitfire Mark I meant that the plane could be upgraded with new engines and armaments. Also, after the original designer R.J. Mitchell died in 1937, his successor, Joe Smith, developed the plane to make it quicker and more powerful.
Hello.
Hi! Did you know one of the greatest invasions in history was on the 6th of June 1944, commonly known as Doomsday, and the Spitfire played a vital role as the Allies came into Normandy. The most effective design were the wings of the Spitfire. These elliptical-shaped wings with sunken rivets allow the plane to fly at a higher speed than most other fighter planes at the time, minimizing drag, and they were also very agile in the sky. Even though the Spitfire was a remarkable aircraft, it still had its flaws. A major flaw was that the earlier Spitfires were not able to perform negative G maneuvers, as it would cause the engine to cut out and the plane to stall and emit black smoke. This problem was soon solved by Beatrice Schilling, a female engineer, who placed a brass ring inside the engine as a stopgap, countering the fuel flowing into the engine and minimizing the leak. This was later replaced by pressurized carburetors.
So, I'll be talking about how many are still flying. So, there was about 22,000 Spitfire built between 1938 to 1948. The Spitfire was one of the most famous fighter aircraft. There's only 35 still flying. So from 22,000 to 35 still flying. There's said to be 240 still to exist. Out of them, 60 are airworthy and 35 still flying. So, how did this famous aircraft all of a sudden only 35 still left? So someone has said that there's a few in Burma have been left during end of the World War II. Few have been buried away. Therefore, we still have 240 left. So, Spitfire was one of the most famous, and it played a huge part protecting the skies and the nation. And now it's just an antique. You must have seen a few in the museums. You could take flying lessons with them, experiences, and it's just that it's a good thing that the Spitfire is still here and not lost forever. Thank you.